Good morning and welcome to this interview. The first question is, please tell us about yourself. What are your interests and hobbies? My name is Linda Akinyi Omondi, a Kenyan citizen, currently a teacher, a graduate of Maseno University. I'm married with 3 kids, 2 sons and 1 daughter. Are you involved in extracurricular activities that you could coach or supervise? Yes, I am currently involved in co-curricular activities, and I'm currently coaching netball girls and basketball girls in my current station. Why did you decide to become a teacher for the subject for which you are applying? I decided to become a teacher of biology and chemistry for the fact that my teachers for those 2 subjects were role models to me. They actually mentored me, and for that fact, I really loved it and grew the interest to becoming a biology and chemistry teacher, and also for the fact that I love things that deal with the living organisms. Are you currently employed as a teacher? Yes, I am currently employed as a teacher by the Teachers Service Commission. How many hours per day do you teach and how many days per week? I teach 8 hours per day and 5 days per week. Describe your teaching experience. What subjects have you taught and at what grade levels? My teaching experience has been a very motivating experience. Having to mingle with different students from different backgrounds, you learn more about things happening from different backgrounds, and you learn more about the emerging issues and how to deal with the different backgrounds. I have taught biology and chemistry, biology for grades 9 to 12 and chemistry for grade 9 and 10. Have you ever worked in the United States? If so, when, where, and why? I have never worked in the United States. Describe other work experiences you have had besides teaching. Besides teaching, I have worked with the Electoral Board Commission of Kenya as a presiding officer in the tallying and counting of the votes. I have also worked with the CDC, an NGO under the Women Empowerment Program. What do you hope to be doing professionally 5 years from now? 5 years from now professionally, I would like to be a mentor, a role model, a teacher who excels all round, a teacher who comes up with a foundation that is able to mold and bring up the vulnerable students in terms of education. If I were to talk to several of your colleagues, how would they describe your personality? My colleagues would describe me as a self-driven teacher, a motivated teacher, a teacher who would always be there for the students, a teacher who would want the best for her students. What would your students say about you? My students will equally my students would equally talk positively about me as a humble teacher, that teacher who is always there for them when they need her, that teacher who will always use the weaknesses of students to turn them to their strengths, that teacher who is always there to motivate and make learners realize that they can despite the challenges. How would you prepare to teach your lessons? Before I go to any lesson, I would first of all gather information about that particular topic. I would make notes from different books, from the resource materials that I understand. I would also sit down and make a lesson plan that will guide me throughout the lesson to guide the different abilities of students that I have. What would your lesson plans include? My lesson plans would include objectives that are clearly stated that have to be achieved at the end of that particular lesson. It will also include the learning activities, what the students are expected to be doing and what the teacher is expected to be doing in terms of the learning points. It will also include the references and the resources, and also the linkage of that particular lesson to the real life situation. Think about a class that you have taught recently. Talk about 2 of the teaching strategies, methods that you used. A class that I have taught recently was a Form 3 biology class where the students were to discuss the different methods of estimating the population size of living organisms. The 2 methods that I used were fieldwork and group discussion. In fieldwork, I had to take the students out to the field using the different methods. For instance, in the quadrat method, each student was involved in preparing the quadrat. They were able to use the quadrat to capture different populations of different organisms, and at the end of it, they were able to work out using the average to get the population of that particular organism. Back to class, I had to group them into groups where they were supposed to discuss what they have discussed out in the field, come up with assumptions and other organisms that can be estimated using the same quadrat method, and raise questions within the group. So they were able to discuss and come up with conclusions from that. What methods do you use to grade or evaluate your students' progress? I use what we call the continuous assessment tests that are done after every topic. I have to test them on the topic to see if actually the topic was understood, give them questions that are marked, and give feedback which are revised after the topic. I also give what we call an exam at the end of the term to see if actually they have a good memory to remember the first topic until the last topic that is covered within that term. If you use technology in your teaching, describe how you would use it. Technology in my class, for instance, right now I am doing cell division where we need to discuss about the stages of mitosis. A learner should grow the interest and understand what these stages involve. For instance, the chromosomes, how they are moving, how they are separating, and how the different daughter cells are being formed. So recently, I have gone to the Google. I have Googled different videos showing the different stages, which I then use a projector to show the students in class just to help them arouse their interest to having concentration in that class. If you have students who are noisy and non-attentive, share with us 2 ways you get them to be quiet and concentrate. Noisy students, one thing I do is that when I get to class, I pick 2 or 1 of them that will give us a summary of the lesson at the end of the lesson. And in that way, they have to concentrate in class. They have to pay attention because at the end of it, they're supposed to give us a recap of the whole lesson. The non-attentive equally, I make sure in between the lesson, I ask prop-up questions that are supposed to be responded, and after they respond, there is a motivation in terms of awards in between the lessons, and these are given to the students. Describe the most difficult problem you have had to deal with as a teacher and how did you solve this problem. The most difficult problem I have had to deal with as a teacher is solving the social background of these learners. When they are affected with these social backgrounds, the learning attention in class deteriorates, and therefore you have to come in to enable them be in school. So how I solve this is involving them in guidance and counseling, where you talk to them so that they understand that those are not problems to them, but rather parental problems, and that they should detach from those and be in school and ensure they do something different that may not expose them to that similar situation. Give one example to show that you are a flexible person and that you can make changes to your teaching and methods if that is necessary. Just like I've told, I'm a flexible teacher. because besides teaching, I can also go outside teaching to guide and counsel the learners. These learners need to give 100% concentration in class, and this is only possible when they're given the right direction, when they are guided well. So we need to counsel and guide them so that they realize the need to be in school, they realize the need to use their challenges and turn them to opportunities. Have you spoken to your family? Is there anything you would like to add about your qualification that we may not be aware of? Besides teaching, we have also registered for teachers modules where we are exposed to different trainings on the current teaching trending issues and emerging issues. I am also currently doing a training on empowerment of the vulnerable children. Lastly, have you spoken to your family about going to the United States to teach? Yes, I have spoken to them. Is there anything such as family member that might object to your leaving home? Currently, I don't think there is, because my family members are into this and are supporting me positively towards this application. Are you aware that your family members may not join you here until approximately 4 to 6 weeks after your arrival? Yes, I'm aware, and before I did this application, I went through your terms and conditions, and I am very much aware. Thank you, hoping for your positive direction.